Welcome to today's edition of A Minute with the Therapist. Right here in the studio, I've got with me Dr. Nemeka. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
We're just talking now before I came on air. We've got a topic today that is really, that's really connected to finance. Finance is a very, 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 very important aspect of not just relationships but our family. So, what's it about that we're talking about today? What's today's topic based on?
School fees have increased. Fuel has been increased.
Mm,
Bills in the market has been increased.
mm,
Bills for transport have increased. And funny enough, the kids are on holidays.
mm,
So everything is increased.
mm,
But the last time I checked, is the appreciation increased.
mm,
Having said that, welcome to our Peace Time Clinics, A Minute with the Therapist.
mm, mm,
Today's gonna be, I don't know.
mm.
I pray somebody don't beat me.
Nobody's beating you physically. Nobody,
It's
that's
better you beat me physically than beating me the other side,
no. That's not what we do here. That's how we are the voice of the people. We say things that are really, really very important.
Factual.
They are very factual, and people can actually relate to. Believe me. So over the weekend, we it's no longer news that the federal government has increased fees for entry level students in the
Federal
colleges,
schools.
federal schools, and also in some federal universities. And now you said one way or another, these can actually affect our family relationship. Linked to the topic the topic we've got for today, which is uh, appreciation basically in relationships.
In everything we
Yeah,
do.
in relationships basically,
Mm.
linking it to billings. Two persons in a relationship, how they come together to actually face bills in a relationship or in a family. You were also talking about the fact that most of the times men take care of bills and they're not really appreciated. So we would want to link some of these topics that we've talked about today. Basically, it's on, if we are to summarize today's topic, it's basically on family finance or relationship finance. How partners should actually appreciate themselves, basically.
Beautiful.
Mm.
So, I wouldn't say that. I want us to look at something. Um, I'm not a politician and I'm not an economist, and
Mm.
let them not just forget we are living in a very simple world. I'm just
Mm.
psychology,
Mm.
which psychology is actually the basics
Mm.
of every life any man lives. Looking at that, I want us to look at something. The new president came in September 29. This is July. In a couple of days, it's going to be 29, and we're talking about May. We have May 29, June 29, and July. In the next 4 days, it's going to be 60 days in the office. He did something that is wonderful and complicated. What am I trying to say? The removal of the oil subsidy, the petrol subsidy to be precise. A liter of petrol now is going for 600,
Or more, depending on where you're buying from.
617, and then PC. Okay, so looking at that, basic salary still remains as 30,000. So we shouldn't increment. Okay, before I bring it down to the family, let's talk about us. We should learn how to love us. Okay, I had a conversation with my supplier. I said, Doc, I'm going to speak that language. I said, ọ bụrụ na m bunye gị na price ahụ m gotere ya oge fuel nọ 500, 515, 520. Nlesi ya mmegokwa ọzọ. Yeah, the businessman is making a point. But we should look at one of the three things. I suggest, in as much as the TUC Labour Congress and a whole lot of people are agitating for salary increments to meet up with whatever it is. This is the first time in the past 2 years, apart from the sit-at-home syndrome, that I drove from Oka to Enugu in less than 6 minutes. It's not because it's Monday, but because a whole lot of people now start calculating the reason why they should
Go out.
go out. I love that. It makes Nigerians to be more reasonable, to be more okay. The last time I checked, Nigerians were not economical. We have been living this life of a prince. You remain food, you throw it away, you remain this. We don't do that again. Now we calculate. You rarely see SUVs on the road now. You only see the regular 4-cylinder engines and stuff. But that's by the way. Like I said, I'm not an economist. I'm not working, for me, increasing the salary doesn't make sense. What I should ask the government to work on is how to make the economy be more valuable. When you have 1,000 naira and 1,000 naira remains 1,000 naira, because even if you increase my rent or you increase my my salary from 30 as the minimum to like 60, if it's not valuable, it doesn't make sense. I'm praying the government to work towards one thing. Let my 30,000
be worth
really worth not $30,000, but let it worth $3,000 instead of 30,000 naira worrying 400. Is it up to 400? Like $250. You get what I'm saying?
It's not even option.
Let me just put it at 100 at piece, which is not possible. It's like 1,000 at piece, which you're talking about. If it's 1,000 at piece, $10,000 is okay. So let's look at it from that angle. That's what me. That's my personal opinion. It's not in how much you increment you make, but what's the value of the money?
All right. No, let's not begin to. Although it's really important, but this is not a program where we begin to analyze the economy intrinsically. Basically, now it's
Just
not.
like I said.
Now, excuse me, please. Now, I would want to link it to. I would want you to link it to how it's going to affect the family, basically, because believe me, lots of pressures now are on parents to pay fees to fund the house, because now the family has to, for families who've got cars, probably two cars or one, they need to increase how much they pay for how much they pay for fueling the
Petrol
vehicles.
and all this stuff.
Yeah, now still they need to fuel the gas cylinders when they finish at home. Now, okay, even if they decide to not use their cars or something like that, the cost of transportation has actually increased drastically, massively.
There's nothing you can do about that.
So how is it going to affect a family relationship amidst this period where lots of financial pressures are on families to even to do a whole lot of things for their family? Now, the most one of the basic things that a father or a mother ought to do for his or her ward has actually also increased. uh, the cost of school fees, talking about the increment of school fees on the federal schools, both talking about tertiary institutions, some tertiary institutions, and secondary schools. So, how is this likely to affect a family relationship?
This is time for us to go back to the drawing board. This is time to. It's not more a litmus test. This is actually the true test of love, consistency, respect, appreciation, and understanding. The question comes to here: why did you get married? Did you get married because it's an obligation bestowed on you by your parents that I need a grandchild, or did you get married because you want to have a wonderful life? Okay, I've seen a situation where people get married, and when issues are like this, the woman will tell you, now, this is where you look about and look on the disadvantages of you lying to your spouse. This is where you look at the disadvantages of you as a man who is chronically jealous and tell your wife not to work because you feel something else is going down. Now, payroll is increased. And Nigerian economy, when we talk about petroleum products, I think we do 80% petrol when it has to do with, mobilizing the industry and moving the industry, just like 10% diesel and 12% and kero and all of that, kerosene and stocks and whatever petrol, aviation fuel. So you will look at this from this angle. It is the time you come to sit down with your wife. Mama, what do we do about this? It doesn't matter how much is increased to. If there's what I call it reasons to be, sincerity of purpose, you still sit down with your wife and say, honey, this fee have increased from 60,000 to 90,000. What are we going to cut on? What are the frivolities that we need to call them on? The kids don't need to go for shopping every other weekend and buy. Now, we do 15 liters of ice cream every weekend. Honey, can you bring it down to 10? Can you bring it down to 5? Can you bring it down to 7? We still know the way to talk to these kids and make them understand. We need to cut from here to fill this space. Honey, we go for swimming, we pay like 1,000 per child or 500 per child. We do that Saturday, Sunday, because I work during the weekend. That is my system of, kind of bootlegging the kids to say, come on, let's go swimming until daddy comes. That will give you 5, 6, 7 hours on a Saturday, which is a family time, and on a Sunday, which is half a family time, to do this. Then it is for you to sit down with your wife and say, let's work on this, let's work on this, let's work on this. Trust me. I have 5 kids in the school, and they are not increased. The school fees increased from 50 to, let's say, 80. That is 30,000 per kid. And every weekend, we spend 30,000 for the whole 5 kids to enjoy their weekend. I'm bootlegging for them not to feel my absence. So you can bring it down to 15. Every month you're saving 45. 3 months in a term, you meet up with that money. Sometimes there's some things you need to go to, what's the word? The park with, or the pool with. Honey, give me extra 1 or 2 hours. I understand. And how does it work? You're going to appreciate your wife for putting up extra hour to do the homemade baked thing, the homemade bread. Thank God for system. Thank God for the network. Thank God for the internet. They are taught women how to do 1 or 2, 3 things, which I also learned from. Honey, can we try this at home? Instead of going there to buy one parfait or 1 buns for like 1,000, do it at home. You go there, you fix it up. This is mama made. Mama made is always the best. It doesn't matter. So looking at it from this angle, mama are going to put up like 1 or 2 extra hours to fix those things. And it's going to save like 10,000. And your duty as a man is whenever you come back and see those things have been taken care of. It doesn't. I know you're tired. I know you're weak. I know you came from a very crazy day. 15 minutes of massage will take care of the woman. What the woman needs is look at her in the face and say, sweetheart, you are the best.
What of the situations whereby both of them, because both families now,
both parents are working. I'm tilting towards that angle. You get what I'm saying? When he's doing this, when she's doing this, you as a man has a role to play. In as much as maybe say, okay, let's be again a little bit reasonable here. We have 50-50. 50% of men don't know how to cook.
Really?
And 50 do know how to cook.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? Nothing stops you from being a part of the kitchen. The disadvantages of the man being in the kitchen is where you're supposed to use 1 gram of crayfish, you're going to use 2 because 1 must be stolen in between the meal. Okay. And that is the fun.
Okay. See, I get it now. Right.
You get what I'm saying? So this is the time the country has exposed us to closer koinonia. This is the time you're going to bring your kids close. This is the time you're going to teach them how not to be extravagant. You're going to teach them that the most important thing is not what you get outside, but the family koinonia, the family union, the family togetherness. That is where you see your 3-year, your 4-year, your 5-year-old child. You say, Mama, bring the onions. Boy, get the onions. He said, Dad, what does it do? When you chop the onions, the eyes are full and they'll run out of the kitchen and they'll run back again and put a little pasta in the mouth and say, you test this onion, we're not going to work. Before you could know it, you might end up not living for the party that day. You might end up not going to the park or going to the pool that day to do those things. Then, on the other side, I sincerely plead for those of our women who have a very wonderful mouth, a very sharp mouth. Slow down already. Stop telling them, imagine Obinna. Obinna you gave birth to is giving the wife this. Look around. The proprietors of the schools are doing it because it's business and they want to give you the best. Imagine people, I know a lot of schools that use air conditioners. And funny enough, EEDC is not really friendly these days. Maybe they have an issue. Nobody's going to blame. It's a machine. It comes and it goes. You still have to know how to go about it. A case was brought to my office where the man couldn't pay the school fees on time, and the proprietor approached the lady when she came for the school run and said, I'm still waiting for people. He said, that useless man has not done anything.
It affected the man drastically.
No, for you to call your husband a useless man in the front of a proprietor, what message are you sending? Don't mind that idiot. And the man will still be at the gate before he would say, don't open that gate and let's have the school fees of my children. The last time I checked, he got you pregnant with your consent. He didn't push you. You know your circle, you know your system. Honey, this is not going to work. Then you know how to do. You have the withdrawal syndromes, you have the package syndromes, you have the blocking syndromes, you have a whole lot of things. I'm not want to talk about it to say, in as much as it is said that you're not going to deny him, but still going to play safe. And you're going to have to understand now. Not tomorrow you say, is he know you that is pumping it out? Tomorrow you say, I said this. No, unless you're planning to be a young widow.
All right. And now, Doctor, according to some reports out there, still linked to education, increments in fees. Now, the report that by October 2023 this year, we're going to have about 30 to 40 million out of school children. How is this going to likely affect the society?
You just pushed me back to politics and the economy right now.
Not really. We want to approach it from a psychological point of
Look,
view.
approaching it from a psychological point of view is, I have a child who is in a school that my salary every month is like 200,000.
Some people are not even earning salaries.
No, I want to be logical about it. When I talk about salary is not the wages you pay at the end of the month. It is the gain you make at the end of every month from what you do. Right. You not tell me somebody doesn't have a salary unless you tell me somebody is not working. Right. And we've lived in a situation, it is over 2 decades that Nigerians don't believe in office work anymore. You see graduates doing things.
Well, they're working. Like myself, I'm here working.
You're here working. So if you're in a car selling bonds right now, you're working. If you're in a car right now selling bonds, if you're repairing phones, if you're doing your tricycle keke, you are working. You see the challenge we have that we need to do this reorientation is we need to understand the meaning of work. I'm doing a tricycle, which is a higher purchase, or I have a boss who have a tricycle. After the expenses for the day, I'm making 10,000. Maybe my boss takes 3,000, and the petrol takes
a certain amount too.
Let's say the petrol takes 4,000, or with the increment, let's say it takes 6,000, which is what's the word? Because 10 liras a day, that's what you used to run your daily activity, which is 6,000. Okay, and my boss takes what? 3,000. I'm left with 3,000 a day. 3,000 times 30 days. How much is it?
3,000 times 30 days.
30 days. You're looking at 90K.
Yeah.
That's your salary. Yeah, from there in between, you have a choice. What's your choice? Your choice is, I have a wife. Why go to Mama Put and spend 700 naira to eat a plate of food when I can fix 6,000 naira? My wife gonna give me a food. You know that recently most men are ashamed of carrying food flags.
It's not about. I don't think it's something recent. I think over the years,
Over time, you know, why would
our great grandfathers never carried food flags.
They did, but then they don't know what food. We don't call it food flags. My great grandfather carried food flags. He was a farmer.
Okay.
With 6 wives.
Wow, 6 4.
Yeah, because then we marry. Not for just the procreation is to help in the farming system. So the last one, they will live by 5. The last one has to be in the farm by 9. What is it coming with? The soup and the fufu from the previous day. Now listen, breakfast is between 7 and 10 in the morning. So she coming is to serve breakfast. So what do you call it? It's food flags.
That's what I'm saying. I totally understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, your father or your grandfather didn't, carry that food flags himself. But it's been brought to him. Basically.
But the last time I checked, you have your food flags and you're entering keke, because my grandfather never took a keke to the 5,436 kilometers he trekked into the bush to farm. I have a lot of people who will say, honey, take the kids to school, give them breakfast, they go to school. By 10, they are all together to make meal for the kids' lunch in school. As they're distributing the one for the kids, they bring it to your office. But because you don't know what you're doing, or you know what you're doing in your office, you don't want your wife to bring you food flags. And now, when you want to eat that kind of meal, you're looking at 2,000-3,000, which you add extra 1,000, it will prepare lunch for 6.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're basically of the opinion that families should come together to
and plan it.
Not just planning, but
cut cost for your own sake as a man, because you will die first.
Are you sure?
I'm telling you, go through this. It's obvious.
It's very obvious.
How many women die between 40 and 50 if it doesn't have to do with a chronic illness or childbirth?
Yeah, true.
It's below 30%. But men wake up every morning, angina pectoris, heart attack, and a whole lot of things you can't define.
A lot of things. When
you hit 50, and now 150. So why not call those things and go to 90? So if you want to talk about life expectancy, it is your own pride you're going to kill to be there. I carry food flags. I wake up in the morning, a pack of noodles is like 200 naira now. And I have 5 kids who go to school. And the kids are going to take a pack, and I'm going to take a pack and half. So that is 7 packs, which is 1,400 naira, which is actually my lunch. If I'm going to do big boy in the office.
So is it not better people buy in bulk?
No, when you talk, I'm just giving you the lowest. A lot of people can't spend 10,000 naira buying a bulk. Let's say it's a daily thing. People like us that go to a cook every day and push the truck, make 5,000, go back home. You get what I'm saying? Do 1 or 2, 3 savings, do 1 or 3 things, and then in the morning you give your wife 2,000. When she has to prepare the lunch with 2,000, 1/4 takes care of 7 packs. 7 packs, the kids take 1. Then you share 1 with 2. The extra one on top will be the egg, which is like 120 or 150 naira now.
I think it's 100 naira.
It's 100. When was the last time you went to the market?
Are you talking about the
egg in the market now? A single egg now is between 120 and 150 naira. Because you don't go to the market. Ask us that where we live in the market.
That's what I actually buy from the market, because the last time I bought, but that's by the way.
It's not by the way. This is exactly what we're talking about. That is why the women need to appreciate the men, and the men also need to appreciate the women for doing the permutation on their behalf.
Yeah, both.
Because when you give a woman 2,000 naira to prepare lunch, for 7 people. The last time I checked, a meal is served. You don't know the permutation the woman did.
Yeah, cut and join.
You
Just
get what I'm saying?
no.
The oil, you don't know how she got the oil, you don't know how she got the onion, you don't know how they got the pepper, you don't know how you are served. One now part the honor keta.
You think it's the money you gave her,
And you're
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
your buga like after all I gave you this.
Wow.
So you now see, out of pride, we kill ourselves all in the name of belonging. I don't belong anywhere. I'm still growing. So I still carry my foot flags.
Wow, wow, that's good. So couples in a relationship, whether in marriage or in a relationship, you've got to learn to appreciate yourself in this period of trying financial times. You have to come together to decide to cut costs. Things are really becoming very difficult. Now, going back to the question that I asked initially, I told you that according to permutations, according to reports, by October this year, 2023, we are going to have about 30 to 40 million out of school children. Now, Nigeria at the moment has the highest number of out of school children.
Yeah, from the statistics the other day, it was 169 over 173.
Yeah, so
poverty rate.
Exactly. So now, how do we? Now, what I want you to look at two things. Now, what's the
the way out?
Yeah, not just the way out, because you're not a financial expert, but you can probably
Psychological.
analyze these things basically. So now, what's the effect of this on society, and not just on society, but on these number of persons who have been said to.
It is assumed, because this is third term, a lot of people will go out. Now, do you know where? I'm telling you, you said it's 40 million, right?
But I'm 30 to 40 million.
30 to 40 million. But if there will be sincerity of purpose and we tell ourselves the truth, the might not get up to 5 million that will fall, that will get out of school children. We still have the community schools. We still have the state schools.
Right.
I started my life in a community high.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Still comes down to cutting down costs.
Now, have you noticed that these days, school names and school runs is not for the benefit of the child, but for the parents, especially the women, to place themselves in a class. My kid goes to this kind of school. So when you see women discuss in a salon, in a market, in a supermarket, okay, in the space, or even in the church, say, my daughter is with this XYZ school. My husband pays XYZ amount. Guy, how many people pass out from Oxford and Yale every year? Over 1,000. How many of them, their names are within head? Below 10%. How many of no? Let me finish. Sorry. Let's be real about it. How many of us went to community high that even our schools are not in the map, but we are making waves more than people who went to Yale, Oxford, and so on? Not. You get what I'm saying?
True.
Now, it is the time for the woman to make a choice. And what is the choice? Train my kids with your blood, and I become a widow. Or come back to me. Let's look for alternatives. I think the last time I checked, there's still some percentage of what do you call it? Free education being offered by some states, even in Kenya, one number of states.
Yeah.
So, do you know the problem? The problem is, how can a whole me, Dr. Kasmia Nemeka, the chief medical therapist of Peace Center and Clinics, Abadole Neuropsychological Center in the whole Southeast, my son, my daughter, will be going to that Pongpokete school. If we learn to step down a little bit, patience. Do you know why beer had a very long lifespan? Bears know how to hibernate during winter. Spring, summer, they grab anything they can grab. During winter, they do what? They hibernate. In the verge of hibernation, what do? They save energy, they save strength, they save pairs, because you can, during winter, you come out from here to like 10, 15 kilometers in the desert in the Arctics, just see white.
Nah, snow and all that.
What do? You calm down. It is the time for us men to teach our women to hibernate. Step down a little bit. It's not about the school. It's about you, the family. What foundation did you lay on your children? Because I've seen children that went to the best schools and they're still sick. And I've seen kids who were giving birth to in the streets and they're doing well. So, 50 million, let me add the extra 10, out of school children by October is totally dependent on the pride the parents are placing. Because community high can still do something about it.
Now, fortunately or unfortunately, now this number of school children are actually basically from most of the numbers are actually from the northern part of the country. Remember that northern part of Nigeria, they've been bedeviled with a lot of insecurity, situations like banditry, terrorism, and the rest. So now, coupled with the fact that they struggle. Okay, I think sometime this year they just completed WAEC exams written. I think just a person from the whole of Zamfara state registered for SSCE. So these things are there now. The situation whereby you're talking about encouraging children to go to school, and you're drastically increasing the fees. Now it's not just on the parents, because we understand the knots. We've got conceptions about the northern part of this country, a whole lot of things. Now bringing back, it's not it's not just that's what I think. I do not think it's a situation of egoistic situation here, where parents are not able to are not wanting to remove their children from these community colleges. Now believe me, community colleges are way cheaper.
Now, why are you pushing me? Why are you pushing me this
No, I'm not
morning?
pushing, but this is about yeah, I know what I'm saying. Now why most parents would want to take their children or their words to colleges, I'm talking about unity colleges, are the fact that you know these schools, that's federal government colleges, are able to give you subsidized education. And at the same time, it's not just that, it's not just the fact that it's being subsidized. At the same time, they give you quality education. At the same time, I've met people who, I've met some of my friends who went to federal government colleges, and they talk about the quality of the education. I didn't go to public schools throughout my education. Luckily for me, I was able to go to private schools and all that. I you will always see the difference, whether you like it or not, because parents are not taking their words to the public schools because of, believe me, those who have their kids in the public schools, if they've got the opportunity and the finance to take their kids to the best schools in the world, the Nigerian parents are known for that. They are willing to spend a whole lot to make sure that their kids are in the best schools. So again, I go back to the question: by October, there are reports that we're going to have about 30 to 40 million children, and these numbers are actually in the north. Now, what do you think should be done to make sure that these numbers reduce, whether we like it or not? The government really needs to do something. Not just the government, but the society that we find ourselves. There's something needs to be done to probably reduce this number.
Introduction to
Yeah,
introduction to
emulation.
environmental psychology.
All right.
The greatest disadvantage in environmental psychology is it is being, for lack of a more proper word, subdued,
Mm.
closed,
Mm.
suppressed
Mm.
by culture and tradition and religion. Now let's look at this thing from this other angle. 20 plus years ago, I was in the secondary school. I remember something that happened with then it was JAM. They have quota and catchment areas from the south, from the southeast, southwest, north central. We have, because of the 6 geopolitical zone, JAMB officially have 6 different cutoff marks.
True. Very true. Very true.
Okay? Now, why did I talk about environmental psychology right now? You see what the culture and religion has did to us, bringing it down home to family and appreciation. The child you love most, and you give him or her waiver on everything that is supposed to make him a normal human being. It's like, when I talk about insects and metamorphosis, I think it's only butterfly and other ones that have 4 metamorphoses, from egg to larva, from larva to pupa, from pupa to adult. Some have just 3. Many of us, when we go to the pupa stage, when we are like caterpillars, the struggle is not a struggle. It's actually the act to make us who we are. But out of emotions, what do? We tear open the cocoon and those birds die. That is where you start having developmental, psychological, and medical dysfunction in so many people. Haven't answered that question in a nutshell like this that people will not understand. The nerve, who are actually the favorite wife of this our father called Nigeria, will definitely be having these dysfunctions because they are not allowed to grow. You get what I'm saying? You don't talk about banditry. The last time I checked, well, over 6 months now, we created our own in the East where there is no Monday service. There's no Monday market here. We are in Oka. Oka to Onitsha is 45 minutes drive. From Headbridge to cross the Asaba is busy. And don't forget that anything said in this country that is about Nigeria, the whole southeast is -1. The next 1 hour will take you to Enugu. 1 hour 30 minutes will take you to Aba. Aba to Port Harcourt is 15 minutes drive. They are full of activity. Who is fooling who? I'm fooling myself. Thinking I'm fooling somebody. Now, it's from the north. What are their reasons? Have they ever believed? I don't want to go back to this. Talk about polio. You talk about medication. You talk about a whole lot of things. And everything. Just like when you come back home and talk about mental health. And people will tell you, for you to go and meet your psychologist or for you to go and meet a psychiatrist, there will be that 1000% stigmatization. Environmental psychology coming to play. We need to tell ourselves the truth. Okay? Until we sit back and tell ourselves, I am lying to myself. I'm mortgaging my own mortgage. Because over there, even back home, we believe in one particular legacy.
What legacy?
The legacy we believe is in how many story buildings you left for the children. I was in the camp a couple of days. I told them something. The first rule of success is obedience.
Obedience.
But we don't know what obedience is. A lecturer will come into the class or somebody or your boss will come into the class and tell you, hey, this place is cold. I'll stand, say what in this man won't talk. You are 50% down. If I don't trust you with the most minute thing, how will I trust you with a stronger armor? So these people are out of school because they already made the choice that there will be a way around it. You don't tell me where we are in the same system. You're giving me 250 as my cutoff, and you're giving you 90 or 100 as your cutoff. What am I encouraging?
It's not just about the cutoff now. Even
I'm giving you the reason why they can tell you, and they will keep telling you that the number of out of school is going to be based fine. Why not share it evenly? If you have taught these kids have to be strong, just like Igbo and male child syndrome. Once maybe you have 2 girls or 3 girls before the boy come, trust me, the boy is useless. Because the mother will base everything on the boy and say, okay, I say fele, biada, nakwa onochilobi, onochilobi, the last time I checked, you gave birth to this guy in your terrace or in your forest. and we have another 30s or 40s, which is this boy's prime. Then this guy will wake up, doesn't know how to attend to a woman, doesn't know how to talk to a woman, doesn't know how to live a legal life, doesn't know how to do something for himself. And you now sit down and say, Chai, ndilo my why you are actually your ndilo. I have a male child. I treat him with, I mean, if he have issues and come back from school, I don't talk to him, but I've concentrated on the women because I know they need help. But when my male child come back home and say, Dad, I say, yes, guy, you are a man, do this and do this and do this. Go. He washes plates more than the girls do. When we share the responsibilities in the domestic aspect of the house and every other thing, he has 50%, the rest are others. He said, Dad, do you hate me? I said, I don't hate you, but I want you to represent me. So that's exactly our syndromes and synonymous when it has to do with East, West, North, South, and Nigerian, whatever system it is. Have you been to Port Harcourt? Have you been to Rivers? Have you been to Calabar, where the oil is coming from? Have you been from Abuja and above? I have someone, I don't want to mention his name, like 16, 20 years ago, he was in government. They later called him Ajib, every government in power. There was this federal school in Abuja, in Kuje to be precise. I was opportunity to be with him there one day. He was talking something. They were complaining about what the child did. Said, do you know what he told the teacher? I didn't send my child to school to study. I sent him to come and meet his fellow men, his fellow boys. That is, that their parents are in power like I am, so that they can be friends. I don't want to mention names. What then we're going to do about that? These are people that when you correct them, the parents will lock you. So for them over there, when they see, open, I don't want to go there.
All
Let's
right.
not just go there.
All right, all right.
Okay.
Finally, we are coming to the end of today's edition of A Minute with the Therapist. I believe you've been listening. Dr. Kasmira Nemek has been saying a whole lot today. Now we'll be talking about the finance, the financial situation and its relationship with families. Why partners in a relationship or marriage, you really need to appreciate themselves in these very precarious, time. Now, what's your final words now? Back to the family. Things are tough. Things are getting tougher. How best in a jiffy? How best do you advise them to go through this?
It's very simple.
Mm.
If you have never had a defined relationship
Mm.
and courtship before marriage,
Mm.
you will never get it right in the family circle. So I'm talking to people who still want to walk in because 2 days ago was Saturday, people waited. And this Saturday, people are still going to wait. Don't pick a woman. And a woman, don't pick a man. Because you want to fulfill the sacrament of matrimony and you want to belong to the second class where the first level has come. Pick a man that has a definition. You as a woman, meeting a man that have a definition, channel the direction towards that definition. We always forget process, but we all look at the purpose.
All right.
Go through the purpose and everything will be fine.
All right. So you've got to, sit tight, work together to actually come out of these, financial, very deep financial situation. You have to also cut costs as much as you can. Just like Dr. Nemeka has said, the government has also, advised Nigerians to cut costs. And not just Nigerians, but to individual Nigerians. Everybody, we really need to do a whole lot. And the federal government, please, work towards removing the negative impact, reducing the negative impact of this economy on Nigerians. And this is the last we'll be taking on today's edition of A Minute with the Therapist. I hope you did enjoy the program today. You can join us again next Monday on another edition of A Minute with the Therapist. Thank you, Dr. Kasme, for coming around.
You're welcome.
Right. Thank you. My name is Ikech Obina. Vincent. Next is Walk and Play with Sabi Sabi. Refuse to go nowhere. Keep that locked on 98.3 FM.